Yesterday in the show, we were talking about the major UN biodiversity report showing that 1 million plus species are at risk of going extinct, the majority of which could go extinct in the next few decades. That is major news in my mind, but not necessarily in reality, because a lot of major media outlets did not dedicate much time at all to that. So just in case you didn't see the initial reporting, you have an idea of how significant it is. A summary report released by the UN on May 6 finds that about 1 million plant and animal species are at risk of extinction due to expansive human development. The current extinction rate is, quote, at least tens to hundreds of times higher than it has averaged over the past 10 million years. That is due to a number of different ways that humanity is affecting the globe. Climate change is a part of it. Pollutions and toxins, overdevelopment, population growth, all of that is tied in with it. And it is significant. And this is not just murder, this is murder-suicide. As we kill those species, we make it harder for us to live on this world as well. So significant. Now, how significant was it for the media? Well, on the broadcast networks, neither ABC's World News Tonight nor NBC Nightly News mentioned that assessment at all. Significant segments on those networks instead focused on a Russian airplane fire, former Trump attorney Michael Cohen reporting to prison, and the birth of a royal baby in Britain. CBS Evening News was the only broadcast nightly news program to air a segment on the biodiversity report. And overall, out of a total of 26 primetime news shows airing on the major broadcast and cable networks on May 6th, only 3 included coverage of the global assessment. 3 out of 26. One of those, by the way, was Fox News. So that's great. You wanna know what they did? They brought on a climate skeptic who laughed about it. And by the way, not bringing on the climate skeptic and him laughing at the report, okay, I'm not really surprised by that. But I think it was Bret Baier, I believe, who was the anchor, the straight news anchor, who introduced it as leftists freaking out over this report. So that was one of the 3 possible attempts that people had of being exposed to this information if they're watching TV that night.
Yeah, it just goes to the broader misunderstanding of actually how we all live and work together, and the fact that you do require science and require diversity, biodiversity to eat food, to grow new foods, to do any of the things that sustain our day-to-day life. We're very divorced from the reality of what it means for farmers, what it means for our water and clean water, and just the things that we take for granted.
Exactly. Yeah, this is all tied together. Like over here, you're seeing some bees. They're significant in ways that I'm familiar with, and far more ways that I'm not familiar with. It's important. And bees, by the way, it's great that you guys went to that B-roll because they're more threatened than a lot of other species. And I believe in the US, their populations are down by like 88% in the past few decades. This is all significant. It should be covered. And I am really depressed that this isn't even a climate change story necessarily. It's affected by it, but anything at this scale that's difficult to show one face to, generally the media doesn't care, and that is incredibly depressing. And we have tried over the past year of this show existing to focus on these sorts of stories. And I'm gonna continue to do that. I will go down with that ship. And that metaphor is apt because these videos don't get any views. We did a story about the UN biodiversity thing, and it got like 1/50th the views that our thing about Meghan McCain freaking out on The View got. That's depressing. And look, you're watching this, so you're probably not one of the people that I'm targeting with this.
You should care about science.
You should care, and there is a reason that the media focus, like we got an issue in 2 parts. With the mainstream media, they take one big story that might be important, legitimately, and then they talk about it for 6 hours straight. Every show is focused on whatever Michael Cohen said or whatever. And that's important, I'm not saying it's not important.
No, I think what Michael Cohen said is really important.
Maybe not.
I mean, let's be honest. This is the 50% of the world's biodiversity, right? 50% of the species in the world are just disappearing.
Yeah, 25% of all the plants.
We should care.
Yeah, and so that's the mainstream media. They focus on one story, and then you have the independent media, the online media, and that can be better. But I look at a lot of these channels, and the vast majority of the videos, it's one person destroys another person, or one person looks like an idiot, or here's some drama with this person. And I get it, that stuff is very fun to talk about. That's why we do it sometimes here. It's enjoyable and it's profitable. People click on those videos. But I feel we're between a rock and a hard place.
All right, so we gotta figure out how we make bees sexy.
Exactly.
What's a sexy bee look like?
Exactly, I don't know, we can find a costume or something, I'll put it on. I'll do a segment as a bee, we'll see how it works. I don't know, honestly. I talk about climate change more than literally anyone else, and even I haven't found a sexy way to talk about it. But I'm working on it, people, please stay tuned.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.